Chairman, Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, has expressed concern over the poor welfare package for judges. Opeyemi Bamidele, who decried the poor pay given to judges during the discharge of their duty across the state, had the budget defense with the federal court and judicial bodies under the National Judicial Council at the National Assembly, saying it could discourage other future judges from applying for the job.
The Joint Committee is mindful of the challenges of the judiciary with regard to infrastructural decay, welfare of judicial officers, electrofitting and automation of courtrooms in line with global best practices. Even though there seemed to be slight improvement in the budget of the judiciary in the last couple of years, there is need for more funding, as the role of the judiciary is crucial to the sustenance of democracy. Therefore, the Joint Committee will work assiduously to ensure that the judiciary is well funded in order for the country to have an efficient justice delivery and robust judicial system. The Joint Committee will scrutinize in detail submissions by courts and judicial bodies, and where necessary, will make adjustments against competing needs and priorities of each court and judicial body. This budget exercise is twofold, as you would be required to give overview of the 2019 Appropriation Act as it relates to its implementation, and also to defend the 2020 budget estimates. It is our resolve to report on the budget within the stipulated period, in line with the National Assembly's promise to Nigerians in order for the financial year to take its normal course.
Earlier, the representative of National Judicial Council, Ahmed Gambo Saleh, had lamented the inadequacies found for the council, praying the committee to look into it.
Permit me to go through the major highlights of our 2020 proposals. Recurrent for state courts and state judicial officers, pursuant to Section 84, Section 7 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. We are proposing the sum of 11,416,000,000. Well, I believe somebody else submitted. It's just a summary I made. It is not.
Recall that Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, called for the approval of 2.5% of requisite commission arising from recovery of offshore stolen assets from the country. Malami made the appeal while defending the Ministry of Justice 2020 budget estimate before the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters at the National Assembly. The Attorney General also said that the ministry was mandated to take inventory and explore avenue for the payment of judgment debt, which had become challenging. A nominee for the office of the chairman of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Dr. Pius Odubu, has expressed commitment of the new board to repositioning and rebranding the commission so as to change the narratives for good. Dr. Odubu, who was the deputy governor to the former governor of Edo State, Adam Oshiomhole, gave assurance while appearing for screening before the Senate Committee on Niger Delta in Abuja.
On behalf of the board and management of NDDC, that we are committed to working with this committee of the Senate and that of the House of Assembly to repositioning and rebranding the Niger Delta Commission so that we can change the narratives for good.
Recall that a list of 16 nominees to make up the board of the NDDC was submitted to the Senate by President Muhammadu Buhari for confirmation Buhari in the letter said Bernard Okumagba from Delta State will serve as the managing director. Otobong Nendem from Akwa Ibom State will serve as executive director project, while Maswe Oko from Bayelsa as executive director finance and admin. Others will serve as state representative.
I'm a chartered accountant. I've had extensive experience in the private sector and the public sector, starting out from an international financial services firm on to several banks. Worked in public service after my career in the private sector, spanning over 16 years. I went on to serve as, in 2007 as Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget in Delta State, and then another term for 3 years as Commissioner for Finance in Delta State up to 2013. And then I came back into the private sector. I run a number of companies after that, financial consulting firm, as well as services in the oil and gas sector. So I've had experience garnered from the private sector and the public sector, and I'm passionate about our country. I'm passionate about serving our people in the Niger Delta, and I think that it is important at this juncture to be able to make a contribution.
I've worked as a project engineer, as a site engineer, and as a project manager in different organizations before I joined the public sector, where I was appointed, like I said, into the Road Maintenance Agency. I am a civil engineer by profession, a member of the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria. I am also a member of the American Society of Civil Engineers and also a member of the All Progressive Congress. I am married, and the marriage is blessed with children. I am from a part of Akwa Ibom State known as Mkparenin, a community where oil was first discovered in Akwa Ibom State. I am 41 years old.
As pioneer founders of the Joy Youth Council, with its agitation that led to the formation of the NDDC, at least I was involved in the discussions that took place in Rivers State Government House with former President Olusegun Obasanjo, that the NDDC stuff was established. And after then, I was now made Commissioner of Energy in Bayelsa, where I served for, again, 4 years. And upon that, I went into private business. I currently run a RASCOP group that is involved in oil and gas asset security, engineering, procurement, and construction.
The nominee gratefully obliged the gesture.
And all the other senators feel that the combined effect of where you come from, your person as an activist, and as one of the founding members who discussed this issue, that you have special interest and you want the NDDC to succeed and to achieve the purposes for which the commission was set up. It's on that note we want to give you one singular privilege. And that privilege, please don't abuse it. Take it as a challenge and make sure that the NDDC succeeds. So stand up, take a bow.
The image that the NDDC has now, the very terrible image of NDDC, people like this can change it and make it for better as Director of Finance. And so I hope I'm speaking the mind of all the senators here now, that this man should rise and take a bow.
No doubt that the hues and cries that we have seen over our land concerning the non-performance of NDDC as expected to date, that all segments, particularly even the traditional institutions, are bothered about what has been happening and they want to change narratives. This is the reason, while, of course, in submission to the efforts that the Mr. President has done very roundly and very well,
The committee will be reporting the outcome of the Senate screening to the plenary.
The Minister of State, Industry, Trade and Investment, Ambassador Mariam Katagun, has tasked stakeholders in the video technology in the country to ensure investment and job opportunities are created through the advancement of video technology standards. Ambassador Katagun said having standards recognized and respected across the world means that video encoded on the one device can be decoded by another. Katagun, who represented Otumba Adeniyi Adebayo, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, at the 2019 World Standard Day, organized by the Standard Organization of Nigeria in Abuja, said the role of standards as a benchmark for the development of video technology cannot be overemphasized.
International standards meet industry demand for powerful compression capabilities and enable smooth transitions to the next generation of video compression technology. This, they say, helps industry to maximize returns on each wave of its investment. Having standards recognized and respected all over the world means that a video encoded on one device can be decoded by another, regardless of the device being used, thus introducing economies of scale that help to grow the market and give innovators the confidence to invest in new video applications and services. I therefore wish to challenge stakeholders in the area of video technology in Nigeria to explore ways of creating more investment and job opportunities in Nigeria via the advancement in video technology standards.
Osita Boluma, the Director General of Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON, said recent innovation has improved video quality as well as making people globally to share their stories in vivid moving pictures. Aboluma, however, gave the assurance that as a member in ISO IEC ITU, SON will explore means of ensuring participation of Nigerian stakeholders in standards development, review, and implementation in line with global best practices.
The innovation of recent decades have driven a huge leap forward in quality video quality, making it more accessible and helping people worldwide to share their stories in vivid, moving pictures. These gains in both sophistication and accessibility of video are built on the development and application of international standards.
The event, with the theme Video Standards, Create a Global State, focused on the role of standards in facilitating video innovations. Osam Raffle, Ben Television.
Despite the controversial issue of the budget padding, still very fresh in the memory of many Nigerians, a member of the Muhammadu Buhari-led cabinet insists that the sole power to change the estimate as contained in the next year budget rests with the National Assembly. Minister of Niger Delta, Godswill Akpabio, as a former senator, stated this shortly after the budget defense section with the Senate Committee on the Niger Delta. This position by the minister comes on the heels of the request last week by the Peter Nwaboshe-led Senate Committee on Niger Delta to have the ministry rework the budget estimate to reflect the realities in the oil-rich region with a backlog of uncompleted and abandoned projects.
What we said was that because we're working with excellent circulars and all that the only people who have the right to tamper with the budget remain the National Assembly, not the ministers who submitted, because of course after Mr. President has signed off and submitted to the National Assembly, only the National Assembly has the power by law to tamper with anything, and they will do so within a certain threshold so that the budget will not be distorted and the mission and the vision of Mr. President will still be realized. And of course they have those powers and they will do so. But as a minister you cannot do it.
The dominant narrative during the Senate Committee session was that of completing other projects rather than beginning new ones. The minister described it as significant progress.
Executive Secretary, Tertiary Education Trust Fund, Professor Bogoro Suleiman, says the fund is set to measure the impact of its interventions in the country's public tertiary institutions after many years of its establishment. Professor Bogoro stated this at a one-day meeting with the TED Fund Technical Advisory Committee on Impact Assessment in Abuja. TED Fund was represented by the Director of Strategic Planning and Development, Ifyong Ukim, noted that the fund was initially meant for intervention on public primary and secondary education, but was eventually refocused to intervene in public tertiary institutions through the TED Fund Act of 2011.
In the 20 years of its interventions, the fund had never presented itself for self-evaluation or examination. Impact assessment, which we are about to undertake, is a contemporary phenomenon for reviewing and assessing progress made by any organization. Is important to the fund, as it will reveal the strengths, weaknesses, progress, challenges, and windows of opportunities for it to improve on its service delivery to its beneficiaries.
Co-chairman of the committees, in their separate remarks, said they will ensure that the work given to them is executed professionally.
If the accountability and responsibility framework embodied in tertiary educational trust fund operations and activities and disbursement process is adhered to by all public sector institutions, we will have achieved much more sustainable development in this country than what we have achieved today.
The committee has November 29, 2019 as a deadline to submit the report of their findings. In Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.